Donald Trump and his campaign are infuriated at ABC News, the moderators of the debate.
The two anchors, David Muir and Lindsay Davis, sat there and only corrected me on things where I was right, but didn't correct Kamala.
They believe that ABC should have pushed back more at Kamala Harris's, what they are calling lies, what other people are calling statements that are out of context. And here's an example. Kamala Harris said during the debate that Donald Trump had called neo-Nazis at Charlottesville very fine people.
It was all false. She talked about the Charlottesville hoax, and these people did nothing about it, which has been totally debunked, as they say, by Snopes and Snoops and everybody else. And go look it up. Go to Snoops, whatever the hell that is.
You actually can't go to Snoops or Snopes or whatever the hell you want to call it. It's not a website, although they post things in social media and whatnot. It's basically sort of the internet fact-checking to chase down conspiracy theories and determine whether something that's trending on the internet is true or false. Well, what Snopes said is that Donald Trump never said neo-Nazis are very fine people, but that's a matter of sort of context, because Donald Trump, after the rally in Charlottesville by neo-Nazis, Donald Trump said there are very fine people on both sides. One side was the neo-Nazis. The other side, the counter-protesters, were protesting against the neo-Nazis. And I would argue that there were not fine people on the side of the neo-Nazis. And when Donald Trump said there are fine people, he is essentially calling neo-Nazis and the counter-demonstrators very fine people. Well, he shouldn't have done that. He did a moral equivalence. And oh, by the way, a lot of people who are online, a lot of Republicans say, well, Donald Trump never said that. Snopes said he never said that. The problem for a lot of the Republicans who are out there, who are on the Twitterverse and social media and saying, oh, Kamala Harris delivered a whopper, she lied, ABC should have corrected, is because there's actually videotape from when Donald Trump was president saying there were very fine people on both sides. Here's Donald Trump being asked about the violence in Charlottesville, Virginia. And again, a counter demonstrator was run over and killed. There were people with tiki torches shouting anti-Semitic slogans and racist slogans, neo-Nazi banners. Here's what Donald Trump had to say about it. Watch.
You also had people that were very fine people on both sides. You had people in that group, excuse me, I saw the same pictures as you did. You had people in that group that were there to protest the taking down of, to them, a very, very important statue and the renaming of a park from Robert E. Lee to another name.
So when Donald Trump says he never said neo-Nazis are very fine people, that's Donald Trump essentially trying to suspend reality. He said there are very fine people on both sides. And for that, people are mad at ABC News because David Muir and Lindsay Davis didn't say, oh, Kamala Harris. No, Donald Trump didn't say Nazis are very fine people. He said there are very fine people on both sides. Well, the ABC moderators probably thought that that would be splitting hairs, that context was irrelevant, that when Donald Trump said there are very fine people on both sides, he was essentially saying the neo-Nazis are very fine people. So ABC News decided not to correct Kamala Harris. I wouldn't have corrected it either. I don't know any broadcast journalist with any integrity, even at Fox News, who would have corrected that. But the Trump folks, MAGA World, is infuriated at ABC News. They should have corrected that. This is MAGA World and the Trump campaign, again, suspending reality, living in their own fantasy world.
I'm disgusted. I'm ashamed of those moderators at ABC News. This should be the last time the Republicans ever do this, because those two moderators tried to sink Donald Trump tonight.
Donald Trump said at the debate that because of Democrats, some states allow you to execute babies post-birth as abortions. No state allows that. When you allow a baby to die or kill a baby or a fetus after it has been born, that is murder. It is illegal. No state allows that. But Donald Trump claimed it at the debate. And so ABC News rightfully pushed back and said, no, it is illegal to do that. No state allows that. Oh, Republicans were angry that Donald Trump got corrected. Here's another one. Donald Trump has repeatedly said, and putting aside from the debate, and we're going to get to the Donald Trump saying they're eating dogs in just a second, but Donald Trump has repeatedly said in his speeches that transgender surgery can be performed at schools without parent consent. Watch this.
The transgender thing is incredible. Think of it. Your kid goes to school and comes home a few days later with an operation. The school decides what's going to happen with your child. And you know, many of these childs 15 years later say, what the hell happened? Who did this to me? They say, who did this to me?
It's the biggest, because can you imagine your child goes to school and they don't even call you and they change the sex of your child? Think of it.
Think of it. Yeah, when you think about it, if your child went to school and was able to get transgender surgery, maybe say from the school nurse during lunch hour, and there's no parental consent, yeah, that would be terrible. But that's false. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen at all. There is no school system in the country. There's no state in the United States that enables the scenario Donald Trump is trying to come up with. So when Donald Trump says, oh yeah, parents are losing control, schools have all the control, they can literally hack off the private parts of your kid, and then 15 years later, the kid's like, oh my God, what happened? That doesn't happen. It cannot happen. But in Donald Trump's suspension of reality, in the fantasy world he creates, where he likes to be the hero and he creates the villains, the schools, that's what Donald Trump says. It is an outright lie. And when that gets said at a debate, it should be corrected. Likewise, in the news for several days leading up to the debate, Republicans have been promoting this thing about Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio. And over the past several years, tens of thousands, I think 15,000 Haitian immigrants have moved to Springfield, Ohio, a town of about 60,000. And there have been complaints about infrastructure and social services being overwhelmed. Well, a few weeks ago, Fox News ran a clip of a woman in Ohio, not in Springfield, but 200 miles away, a Black woman who apparently was on drugs, who was arrested for killing and eating a cat.
Did you eat it? No, why'd you kill it? Did you guys see all this?
No, we pulled up and she was just laying there with me.
Did you see her eating it?
Eating it.
She was eating it?
Yeah.
And this video whipped around the internet, and a lot of people in MAGA world said, aha, this is proof that there are Haitians in Ohio who are eating cats and killing cats as part of voodoo. No, this particular clip wasn't in Springfield. It wasn't a Haitian woman. It was a separate incident of a woman who was high on drugs. But this rumor started to build. And between some people in Haiti practicing voodoo, which involves animal sacrifice, rumors started spreading in Springfield that there are people who are stealing dogs and cats and pets and eating them, and that the ducks are being cleaned away from the pond. And there was Charlie Kirk on his podcast saying, oh, yes, there are these stories about ducks and animals being eaten.
Allegedly, Haitians are going around and taking people's pets and eating them.
This took off. And then Senator J.D. Vance issued a statement saying, well, it might be true. We have to be careful here. This is another reason that we shouldn't have immigrants. Really? The local police weeks ago, before the debate, said they have not received any credible reports or evidence of anybody in the immigrant community illegally eating, killing dogs, cats, household pets. Then the mayor has a statement saying there have been no credible reports, credible evidence of what these people are claiming, that somehow immigrants are stealing pets and eating dogs and cats. Then the governor of Ohio says there has been no, the governor, by the way, is a Republican. There has been no evidence of people eating pets of immigrants or whatnot. And yet the Trump campaign doubles down on it. It says, oh no, there's some video. We've seen it on TV. We've seen clips of people claiming that this is happening. Well, sure, there have been people who have gone to the city council meeting and who have spoken to reporters and said, yeah, I've heard that those Haitians are eating pets. And yeah, I have a neighbor who says that her dog got lost. Maybe it got eaten. Maybe the dog did get lost. Did it get eaten? Nobody's corroborated that. Nobody's confirmed that. And the fact that people are actually saying, I've heard the rumors, that doesn't make the rumors true. So when Donald Trump at the debate, and again, you have your list as a moderator of all the possible lies and points of contention. When Donald Trump went there and said these immigrants, and we all knew that Donald Trump was going to talk about immigrants, and you can list the 10 or 11 lies that Donald Trump might articulate about immigration and migration at any point if you're a journalist who worth his salt. This was one of the issues that I'm sure ABC thought, okay, maybe Donald Trump's going to use this Republican talking point about Haitians in Springfield, Ohio. We better be ready. They called the city manager. The city manager said there's no proof, there's no evidence. And so when Donald Trump went there during the debate, ABC News rightfully corrected him. And Donald Trump looked like a fool, not because of the correction, but because he said, they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs.
This is a problem for Donald Trump. And to blame ABC News for Donald Trump's ridiculous claims at the debate, there's an old saying that children are aware of. It goes something like this: winners, keepers, losers, weepers. When you weep about a sporting event or an outcome you don't like, you have lost. Winners walk away and say, yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm sure there were some things that Kamala Harris wishes that ABC might have done a little bit differently, but she's not complaining about it. She's not saying, oh, I could have done even better. So clearly the Trump campaign is admitting by their complaints about ABC News that Donald Trump lost. And right now, Donald Trump and his campaign are pointing to ABC News and suggesting we can't have another debate like this. And you have a lot of people in the conservative media world saying Donald Trump should never go on ABC News again. And Trump is saying that ABC News should fire their anchors and their reporters. Good luck with that. But it's another reason why, the stakes are big in this campaign, because if Donald Trump wins, can you imagine the retribution that a Trump presidency might have, not just against ABC News, but also against CNN and MSNBC and all Donald Trump's perceived enemies?